Guys, I need to talk to you about this. Please go deal with your trauma. Okay. I was having this really interesting conversation with my yoga teacher, and she told me this really interesting thing. She was doing this asana once. It was a butterfly pose, and when she went further into the pose, something in her hips cracked, right? 10 minutes later, she finds herself sobbing. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Maybe she hurt herself, but what she made me understand is that emotions and trauma and a lot of unprocessed feelings can be stored in your body, like physically stored in your body. So she then went ahead and cried it out, and then she told me there was like a lot of tension that was stored in her hips. And there are these energy centers where emotions get stuck and they show up on your physical body. The example of this is when you're stressed, or when you have like this really shitty week or whatever, you get breakouts, you get pimples, your hair falls, you have dullness in your eyes. These are all emotions showing up on your body physically. There's a lot of people that ask me, I'll give you a personal example. I have been dealing with a backache since I was, I think, about 14 years old. It happened out of nowhere. So when I was having this conversation with my yoga teacher, she actually brought it up and she told me that, Preeti, why don't you reflect when you were 14 years old? Is there something emotional that you were going through? Is there a big change that came about in your life? Or is there something new or something uncertain that happened? Because your chakras apparently, so the back is very close to one of the chakras here. I think it's the sacral chakra. Of course, I don't want to say anything about this because I'm not sure, but what she told me is that that's emotion stored, and sometimes my backache disappears, sometimes it comes out of nowhere, which made so much sense because at the time there was a huge change in my life, and which is why it showed up on my back and the emotion got stored there. Another interesting thing is that I remember once I was listening to this frequency, like there are lots of things that you can do and listen to that will help you release these emotions. So once I was listening to 432 hertz frequency before I was sleeping. Out of the blue, I just wake up in the middle of the night, I'm sweating and I start crying. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? I didn't get a nightmare, I got no bad dreams. Why am I crying? I shared this with someone, and a friend of mine, she told me that this was a release of your emotions, because 432 hertz is the frequency of the universe. Once that goes through your brain and that passes through your subconscious mind, there's a lot of release of emotions, and that's what happened to me that night. So I regularly now listen to this frequency because it's a way of grounding yourself. It's a way of clearing negative emotions. For me, like, I've always been this person that I can never push it down, because if I'm feeling an emotion, I need to express it at that time. I'm not good with suppressing emotions. That sometimes works to my favor and sometimes it does not. All I know is that it's really helpful in dealing with your feelings, because I know people that don't cry, that don't speak up when they feel things, that don't sort of just push it down, and they say that I don't want to deal with this right now because I don't have the strength. But eventually you're gonna have to deal with that. I have this really close person in my life, and she has certain things in her past that she hasn't dealt with, and it really shows up on her body. Even inflammation, even like fat stored in your body, or even like a lot of bloating, that's also unprocessed emotions. And it's so interesting to me that once you start dealing with it, you start to heal from the inside and it shows up on the outside. And this is proof, because remember the time when you're extremely happy, like the happiest you've ever been in your life, and tell me what you looked like at that time, because everyone will say that when you're happy you glow, your skin glows, you glow from the inside out. That's why when people say when you're in love you have a different glow, when you're pregnant you have a different glow on your face. Unprocessed emotions will show up on your physical body. Deal with them.